let's say you put 1 lakh in your bank and earn an interest, it will give you about 6% maximum interest rate, which is 6,000 rupees of savings. And 1 lakh and becomes 1 lakh 6,000. The same 1 lakh, if you put in solar as an investment, the asset is fully protected. It's on your roof. It's not outside. It's not a land. It's not in third location, or it's not in the markets where you have no control over the money or, your asset. It's on your roof. It's not moving. It is fixed, and it is giving you a returns of anywhere between 25 to 40%. Means for every lakh, you're saving between 30 to 40,000 annually in terms of electricity bill savings. So you recover the investment in 3 years and you have a life of 25 years. So it is a fantastic opportunity for people to leverage that.
Like to bring in the first question that is from Rajni Agarwal. In housing societies, how can we make it self-reliant through solar energy?
I think excellent question. So I live in a housing community as well, where we have about 600 houses, and for last 10 years, it was a tough thing not to have experienced solar on my own because I live in an apartment and I don't have access to roof rights. So the best way for an association to come together would be to put the corpus fund together. So now with the promotion of solar, even an association is bankable. You can apply for a loan, very low cost interest loan, or you can use the corpus money. So there are two options, right? So the corpus money can be invested for common area lighting. So all the electricity bill maintenance that you're currently paying can be drastically reduced with a one-time investment. So for your lift loads, lighting loads, parking loads, motor loads, your swimming pool cleaning, all the electricity that is for common, that is typically on a separate meter. And there is a Government of India, like I said, subsidy from national portal. It is basically about, I think, 17,000 per kilowatt. You get a subsidy from the central government, which is a very, very handsome subsidy. So I would strongly recommend that you call a couple of vendors to bid for the project and, let them look at the roof, give you the proposal, tell you, will it take 2 years, 3 years for the payback, and see how the community comes together. Like I said, it's a no-brainer to go solar. I typically give an example of, let's say you put 1 lakh in your bank and earn an interest. It will give you about 6% maximum interest rate, which is 6,000 rupees of savings. And 1 lakh and becomes 1 lakh 6,000. The same 1 lakh, if you put in solar as an investment, the asset is fully protected. It's on your roof. It's not outside. It's not a land. It's not in third location, or it's not in the markets where you have no control over the money or, your asset. It's on your roof. It's not moving. It is fixed, and it is giving you a returns of anywhere between 25 to 40%. Means for every lakh, you're saving between 30 to 40,000 annually in terms of electricity bill savings. So you recover the investment in 3 years and you have a life of 25 years. So it is a fantastic opportunity for people to leverage that. Yeah. Next question.
Yes, I'd like to now unmute Shmuel.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting presentation about renewable energy. And I want to ask you a question. How, according to your opinion, renewable energy can support resolution problems of poverty and social inequality?
Great question there, Shumal. Thank you so much for asking that. So there are multiple ways, the people who are below the poverty line, like I said, how will they benefit from renewable energy? I think the nature itself of renewable energy, like I gave an example, it's very distributed. So I can provide for rural communities a self-reliant way where, let's say, for them, they were running business for a few hours. With renewable energy, now they can run in a more systematic, longer hours. They're able to run their business longer because the electricity is available. Secondly, you have access to clean drinking water. So there has been a village where about 2 to 3 kilometers or 4 kilometers, they had to walk to procure their water. So we put a 12 HP pump and started to pull the water closer to them with the solar pump. And now the community is self-sufficient. They don't have to walk all the way there to collect the water. The third thing is, of course, the employment that is creating locally, right? So now these are all distributed. So it is not centralized where all the jobs are in one location. At a village level, I'm creating jobs and opportunities for people to have that. The fourth thing is the farmers. Farmers, what happens with solar is they are one is, though farmers are getting free electricity today in India, what happens is there is no schedule of when they get the electricity. It could be middle of the night, it could be daytime, it could be any time. It's fairly erratic. At the same time, with solar water pumps, what happens is you're getting systematic water during the daytime. So you're able to manage your crop better. The production is better. You're not flood irrigating to an extent where there is, losses in that. So there are multiple ways where, the communities are, getting better out of the renewable energy sector.
Thank you very much.
And the next question is from Bhaskar Nandi. How banks and
Okay.
financial institutions can be made capable to assess renewable energy projects and sanctions?
I think that was biggest bottleneck for taking off of renewable energy in the past. So the finance aspect was only coming to a certain credible set of customers in the past, like, maybe 5-7 years ago. But now it is becoming a mandate. So central government has made it mandate for state banks, central banks, NBFCs to start promoting solar. So how are they doing it is basically there are a lot of checks and balances that go, right? So if, let's say, a homeowner says, I want to go for solar and they've applied for a loan, how do you ensure that you're checking who's the vendor who's installing? Today, if I'm providing a loan against a brand like Hyundai, Tata, Maruti, I'm confident that I'm able to lend against that product because you have some credibility in the market and there is a brand awareness. In solar, that is one of the biggest challenges, and that is where Freya Energy is coming forward to set the benchmark. Benchmark itself is not there. Like if I say I want to put solar in your house, beyond panels or inverter, the awareness is very low as to should there be a lightning arrestor? Should I need fire extinguishers? How many units should it generate? How safe is it for my child to go to the terrace? So there are a lot of safety aspects, etc. So it's important to work with good quality vendors that have a good track record and extend the loans against them, where the financial institute is also able to access the data. When I say data, you're able to monitor how well your assets. So let's say you finance for 10 houses. How are these 10 houses performing today? Are they getting the generation as guaranteed for the design? Hence, they're saving electricity bill. Hence, they're able to pay the EMI. You don't want an electricity bill and an EMI, right? That's the whole point of putting solar is you reduce your electricity bill. Instead, you pay an EMI and own the asset in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the tenure of the loan may be. So this is how, so you have to partner and collaborate with people who have the right vision and the right mindset and work forward for financial institutions. But the opportunity is immense. Like I said, 1 crore homes have to get solar. Only 10 lakhs have gotten in the last 11 months. So that is 1 lakh per month, which is going to take 10 years if you're going to go at the same pace, right? So we have to adopt and accelerate the adoption today. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the next one from
Yeah.
Brahman Kamble. I am living on 3rd floor in a 7th floor building. Plenty of heat enters into my house. Whether it's feasible to go for solar.
At an individual level, again, it's going to be tough. Only the penthouse owners who have access to the roof typically get it. I mean, if it's one of the older buildings where you can talk to the association and put up a solar, of course, you don't have to make any changes directly to your meter we can give, as long as you get the permission from all other community people saying that, yeah, you're free to use that. Let's say per kilowatt, you need about 80 square feet of shadow free space. So if you're able to carve out, let's say for your home, you're getting a 2,000, 3,000 electricity bill, and you're able to set up a solar system on top, you need about 200 to 300 square feet of space. And if somebody is willing to give you at the association level, of course, you can connect to your meter. Like water heaters, you need to do an entire plumbing. You don't need to do that for solar electricity purposes, at least. It's a very plug and play model. All you need is a shadow free space. What is going to disrupt, which is where a policy change can happen, which will be beautiful, and I think the market size will become 100 times bigger, is if I'm able to, let's say I live in an independent house and I have a lot of space, I put up solar and I give it to the grid. You on the other side don't have roof rights, are able to sign up for my power. So that policy change, if it ever happens, which is already happening, let's say in Delhi and West Bengal and UP, there are small pockets where they're doing a trial where it is basically you can trade electricity. So that has to happen, which if the policy changes happen, then anybody can. So in places like in the US, UK, I can pick my provider. I don't go with whoever is providing me electricity. I can pick, do I want to get 50% green energy, 100% green energy? I may pay a slight premium. Let's say instead of paying 2000 bill, I pay 2300, but I know I'm getting complete green power from wind or solar, and I'm signing up with, let's say, Octopus Energy, for example. So you have access to choosing. If India also comes with that model, it will happen. If it may happen in small scale with private sector guys, and then it may become mainstream for discoms to start doing it. But if that happens, then you will have access to signing up for renewable energy. Yeah.
Thank you for the reply. I'd like to now unmute Mr. Suman. Hello, sir.
Namaste, madam.
Namaste.
Actually, renewable energy is one of the DSM tool,
Okay.
demand side management tool. But why distributed energy generation, decentralized power generation is not happening at a pace megawatt scale is happening? Why government of India or other state governments are not taking it so much serious? So they are concentrating only on megawatt range, but
No,
distributed.
it's actually not true. Historically, if you really look at it, it is the distributed solar that has taken off in India, in rural India, for DC lights, DC fans. At a home level, you get take a panel, you're charging a mobile phone, street lighting, water heaters. All these are distributed. Your signals that have panels, they're all tendered, government tenders. In the line of control in Kashmir, you have decentralized. There is no way you can put a grid out there in the army terrain. So distributed solar is actually supremely popular. It is distributed energy, for that matter, is already happening at large scale. It's just that you have to put so many of these mini blocks to make it a gigawatt or a megawatt. Like I said, if I show you my portfolio, I have done 100 megawatts. 100 megawatts is a joke for a big company who's probably set up 500 megawatts in 6 months. But 100 megawatts from where I come in terms of scale is great, is because I'm putting 3 kilowatt in each house, 2 kilowatts, 4 kilowatts. All of those put together is 100 megawatts, right? So that is where it matters. And yeah, to your point, can it be better and faster? It's happening. Like I said, the grid also has to upgrade, no? Today, if everyone goes electric vehicles, it will disrupt the grid. If everyone starts to generate solar electricity on the roof, and let's say you're not even in the house, the units get exported to the grid through net meter, but the grid doesn't need power. So there's a lot of stability challenges that happen. So distributed, how beautiful it is, it has its own challenges. So you have to be smart about it and do it in phases and are able to manage the load. Like I said, eventually it's the supply demand management that will result in, taking off of a lot of these products in the market. But otherwise, yes, it is happening in temples, remote schools, colleges, wells, farmers. PM Surya Ghar is for rooftop, but PM Kusum is for farmers. It's a very, very big scheme that is happening for water pumping, and even if farmers not able to use the land, they're saying you lease out the land, you take money on a lease and set up solar farms for the government to take power, and the government is paying them per unit rate, right? So a lot of these things are happening on a distributed level already. Actually, when I see my call volume, I'm present across 42 cities in India, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. The tier cities like Hyderabad, Pune, knowledge levels are much lower. But the rural communities, they'll ask me, I need 2 kilowatts, I need 3 kilowatts. They know exactly what calculation, they know their meter, they know how many units they're consuming, how much is their load, how much pump of, motor is there being run. So they're fantastic when they ask us, right? So it's actually very nice to hear that instead of sitting in a boardroom and trying to explain what does solar do, it is the rural communities that understand the benefits of it, because they are the ones that are suffering, right? We are sitting very comfortably getting electricity. So I see that change, slowly happening. I still don't think people think solar is for them. I'm like, no, it is for everyone that has a roof space can put solar.
Another question from Rajni Agarwal. Why is government not making it mandatory to use renewable energy in all new constructions and also converting older buildings into this?
It's already happening in most of the tier 1 cities, not so much in the tier 2. But recently also a customer said, I'm trying to get permissions to upgrade the old hotel into a new hotel, but they're not giving him permits. So he's forced to now put solar. Also, if you're aware, solar water heaters was mandatory in a lot of constructions. So solar PV also eventually will become mandatory. And I think you don't even need to mandate. Like I said, it makes economic sense, right? So it's instead of bleeding money in corpus fund or every month paying money, you put the stop today by either taking EMI, because let's say everyone fears of, okay, it's 1 to 2 lakh investment upfront, but nobody hesitates when they're buying an iPhone or an Android phone at 70, 80,000, 1 lakh. I mean, this is going to come a long way. I always explain simple economics to people, saying that if you invest 1,22,000 to 1,25,000 in solar, after 3 to 4 years, the payback is received. You're saving between 10 to 12 lakhs. That's like, it goes towards a child's education. So I'm not giving solar to only, rich or high net. I'm giving solar to everyone who's paying anything between 800 rupees bill, 1,000, 1,200 onwards. So we are really seeing the value for them. They are seeing the value in putting solar and they're coming forward to it, right? So absolutely. So it will become more and more mainstream. Like, you buy TV, fridge, you get the electricity connection, you put solar. So yeah, so some people are making it, some cities are making it mandatory. It is not universal right now.
One question from me.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the scope for directly solar powered vehicles coming into existence in India? Like, do you think there's a chance?
It will be tough. I think it is going to be more very experimental and a very small portion. Keeping safety aspect, dust, and long-term usability will be tough. Like, there are enough things that are coming, roads are having a way to charge your vehicles apparently. So in Europe, they are creating these highways where it's able to charge your vehicle just with the contact. These are all very unique, very interesting. Till they're commercialized, till they are like, brought mainstream, it's going to be tough. But yeah, I think electric vehicles will take off, hydrogen vehicles will take off, but like having panels on the roof and a vehicle moving will not be like a mainstream thing, I think.
Moving
And
on to
thanks
the
for
next
sharing.
question. Thank you so much, ma'am. Moving on to the next one from Mr. Vinayak. Hi, Radhika ji. Is there any green hydrogen project planned from Freya Energy?
No, we are not into green hydrogen. We don't have any. We might work in collaboration, right? So if, let's say, eventually jo bhi banate hain, storage is going to be important. And when the storage comes, hydrogen is there, solar also will become. So I'm in talks with some companies where they're trying to build a sustainable solution for a community. Not yet. Nothing so far.
Another question from Mr. Vasant. In the beginning, government gave rupees 9 plus per unit if we supply my solar power panel power to grid, but
Yes.
my investment is not getting return. Why?
Is this person from Bangalore? Karnataka was the only government that gave export. So whenever you're exporting unit, the government paid you money for excess units given to the grid in a way to promote. So one way is to subsidize. So in reducing the investment was one way. The other way is to incentivize somebody saying, hey, let's say I at a home I only need 10 units per day, example, but I have space to generate 20 units. So people have gone and invested in the additional capacity to export 10 units because you're getting handsome per unit rate from the government. But if he's saying he's not getting his returns, either the generation is not proper, so either the panels are not being cleaned, or that is typically the issue. The panel is not being cleaned is where the generation losses are there, hence you're generating less, hence your payback is less. Second problem could be there is a problem in the inverter where some of the strings that are connected series and parallel, if something fails, then only partially. So even let's say there is shadow on one panel, the entire string gets affected. So it is important to go check and see if there are new neighboring buildings that have come, or there is some other shadow that is being casted, or what happened on day one, is it still happening in terms of generation, what has been the difference. Get a some company to come and do a diagnostic. It'll help you understand where your challenges are.
What are the regulations like IEC standard we must follow in designing of solar projects? If you could illustrate on this, it will be better.
It's so, like I said, I am an installation, I do design and installation. So the IEC standards typically apply on the product. So the panels, when they're coming, they should be IEC compliant. There is like some huge number of variations. And if you have to get subsidy, there are again Government of India mandates it, saying that if I'm supposed to give you subsidy, you need to ensure that these panels are coming with these standards, etc. So you have to comply with that. And already the inverters are IEC compliant because they're outdoor and they're going to go through hailstorms, heavy sunlight, everything, right? So the IEC standards are fixed for the component vendors. That is where I'm talking about. As an installation company, the standards are not defined. So let's say, just apples to apples, let's say I define what should be the thickness, okay, what should be the tire quality, what should, for a car, if I go with the specifications, how you put together also matters. How the gearbox comes together, how will the bonnet come together, how is the windshield, how are the entire, everything is coming together matters. Here in solar, each of the components have a definition. As a system, when it comes together, there is no standard other than quality checks at every component level. Right? That's about it. So we, like I said, we through experience have said that if a customer should have a good experience in terms of safety, quality, and the customer experience, we follow a very different standard levels for ourselves. Yeah.